There are many ways to improve your life, whether in business or in life, or just in general life, just to trace the fact. But the ones that I see don't really do much compared to what I'm about to share here. Because these were historically repeated activities that over time went from just general things that you think are serious and as a form of punishment and really just occasional things to now being hobbies to support one's spiritual self and well being, as well as changing their life in general. Especially when the concepts of these hobbies deal with hard work and effort for the sake of satisfaction, self satisfaction. I mean, nowadays it's not even made for the sake of art, love, passion, and overall effort. It's not like a delicate fruit basket that are sent to the die-hard fans of the original material, but more it was just made for the sake of paying a guy's rent or paying a guy's college tuition. Or actually, his son's college tuition. I mean, depends if the kid is going to community college and he's 30, but other than that, I mean, it's all made for finance, which business is business. I understand, but how are you able to have much quantity when the audience is looking for quality? I mean, I just think it's the same thing in between. When it physically shows it, how are you going to have more quantity when in the previous material they only ask for quality? I mean, that's the thing I try to pay attention to. I mean, I care for money as well, but I just think there just has to be some sort of balance between it. But that's what I'm not here to talk about. Instead, I'm gonna only talk on why reading and running is good for you and why you should add it to change your own life. When you're running and you feel once the heartburn rushing inside you and you feel like you want to quit, even when it gets hard, intense. But that's the point of running, to better your life, to better you, health wise, in which why in spare time makes it more than a usage rather than just a pointless time waster to punish your body for nothing, in which it is the opposite. But overall, with running, it can be a true overcomer when it comes to the beginning of a fitness journey.
The skills that you get from this are even greater once you apply them to life outside of exercise. There's the overall self-esteem boost and the overall max capacity. The same could be put to reading, which I'm about to share you next. Bro, no one's not even gonna care, bro. Not even the audience. Just put the fries in the bag. Not everyone is David Goggins, all right? Just put the fries in the bag, all right? You're not even pursuing anything, okay? The people already about to watch this are already about to click off because how boring it is, how dry it is, and how self-centered it is. You're not gonna be anything. You're nothing. To be full frontally honest, you're worse than the film industry. You're nothing, all right? You do all of this, all for nothing. You're effortless, you're artless, you suck. You're not gonna be anything. You're not. What? Get up on out of here. Bro, I know you're not talking over here being a civil engineering major, doing 4 years, like basically do 2 at this college, then transfer to a 4-year prestigious Ivy League university. All that work just to get kicked out of the house, and at the end, not get hired, and even to find a job, but a dead end last resort, and then living in a box, spending the rest of your life flipping patties into putting the fries in the bag for $7.25 an hour. I know you're not talking. At least I take action. I prefer a good career over public satisfaction and a limited time friend group. I know you're not talking. But other than that, I do support what you're doing with your major.
Now, I'll be talking about reading, and it does more for you than actual physical activity. And as physical activity is important, some side activity to help you with your mental health could work, especially reading it, and in both growing and making you an intellectual person at the same time. When you're reading, especially with the text,
Your mind gives a visualization of the context, strengthening the literacy neurons to understand the context of everything. For the average reading speed, that could be certain. With reading, it can be beneficial to do it since the literacy can bring true personal potential intelligence to its core power. And with reading, there are many scientific benefits with the human psychology for many reasons, and why reading is good for you in terms of the human psychology, as well as in general with reading, the benefits such as cognitive stimulation, knowledge acquisition, improved vocabulary and communication skills, and stress reduction can help with the mind as you develop with reading in the real world. Reading will truly be an adventure of knowledge. Or just a trivial fact, reading can actually be really good depending on what you read, It takes the time, location, and basically the money to buy a book. And with that only, plus nothing else, and plus it's actually really good once you buy a printed version, because then you get the sense of literacy almost, and wouldn't have to affect your eyes and stuff. And also you wouldn't have the other chance to go through your apps and just watch garbage all day pretty much. You could replace that with Catcher in the Rye. It's a really good book in my opinion. But other than that, the thing I like to include here is the many examples of reading. Why reading is good for the example part of it. So, it's actually really good. I recommend it. And with the claim that reading makes you smarter, it's not too far from the truth. It's not too far from the truth. In fact, it could be seeds to growing a good mind. Yeah, reading's pretty good for it. In many examples, it's actually really good for it. The reason why I like reading personally is because, just for many other reasons, just a general reason of making you smarter and stuff like that. But it just really depends on what you read, really. I mean, if you're reading like a science textbook or something like that that you have to read for a class or something like that, then it wouldn't be fun or anything. Oh, just anything interesting. Me personally, I like reading The Great Gatsby and Can't Hurt Me. Those two are actually really good. One for exposing the truth of the American dream and the other for independence. So it's all really good. And I just love reading so much to the point where I basically just fantasize about it, where I just fall asleep and just dream about like certain situations of me that involves reading and stuff like that, different quiz situations. I think I had a dream last night where I was interviewed about a book that I had to analyze that I was reading or something. But yeah, I think it was like, reading's good for it. Many examples it is. Me personally, I like reading self-help and 20th century fiction and stuff. One for just general self-help, and the other because they're classics that show timeless messages about independence and the world around us pretty much. Unlike how books are today with, they're still good like for the independence part of it, but they end up, making it too political and stuff. But other than that, it's actually really good. Reading is good pretty much. I just love reading so much to where I dream about every night, just imagining myself in situations, quiz interview situations about reading and stuff. In fact, last night I actually did have a dream about being interviewed about a book, and I had to analyze themes about it. I think it was like,
So you've read the book? Yes. Then you are aware of the many details, since it is a short book. Yes. You are the reader who is able to identify themes in a story. Perhaps you can tell me why this book here relates to the ideas of obesity, consumerism, and the overall issue that America believes is okay, is body positivity. Okay, let me see. The very hungry caterpillar! Perhaps you can tell me, how is this even related? Do you even read the book? Read the book? I read it when I was in the first grade. It was just a story about a caterpillar that just eats stuff and becomes a butterfly, which is natural for a caterpillar. How does this even relate to obesity? That's the issue. How? Well, that's because in the story, the caterpillar just eats, and since it is a fictional kid's story, they turn into a butterfly by the end. But when a woman does it, and they just eat it with anything, they're either in risk of having a heart attack or just end up looking like Peter Griffin. How did you even make that comparison? I further looked into it, and I think it's true. Do you think it's true? It doesn't. Maybe you're right. Maybe I just be overthinking with the story and stuff, and maybe I just hate fat people in general. But did you even actually read the book? What were you even doing last night? Not reading this, I can tell you that. But I was definitely being productive.
Oh.
Get nothing.
Said most popular food.
I would never cry to a song. Let's be honest. I am
From the screen to the ring to the pen to the king. Where's my crown? That's my bling.
You get an F on this reading assignment. Perhaps maybe next time you must pay further attention. Bruh.
So yeah, that is why I think reading and running are two beneficial things you can do in your life to change it. But besides all the psychological things that happen when you do those things, in the real world, that actually does help you using the concepts that you do from reading and running. With running, they teach you the skill of discipline and mental resilience. It tells you that when life gets hard and you feel like quitting, but it is something you enjoy so much it benefits you, then you know it in the back of your mind and you keep going, showing the potential you have on going and how far you can set the bars. And every step and every mile you take is a lesson slash reminder in your perseverance and to let yourself know you are a badass and you are capable of anything thrown at you. So that when that finish line, you realize you were in a race with your problems. And even if you were slow and it was the hare, you dedicated yourself to winning and took action. And from there, you won. And from there, you meet your lifetime area of satisfaction, letting you know you're locked in and you're there in your lifetime of satisfaction. As with reading, the skills that you learn from it are actually really amazing. As you read a paragraph or read something, as each and every line creates a certain context and every single word is every step, which all leads to a key of learning the fact, or when you're reading fiction, learning the plot twist or the truth. Overall, with reading, the more you do it, the more mentally healthy you would be, the more happier you would feel, and the more smarter you would feel as you consistently doing it and prioritize it every single day in doing it, as well as practicing memory as you're doing it, because with reading, you practice it as well. Beyond what I disclaimed here, there are many reasons and resources on why reading and running are two beneficial things you can add in your schedule to change your life. But in briefness, running and reading are the ultimate life keys and life hobbies to change it, unlocking your full potential when it comes to the mind and body. And when running teaches you discipline and strength and teaches you the life lesson, and when things get hard, don't give up and you just keep moving forward in order to overcome it. In any situation, whether physically or mentally. And with reading, there are millions and millions of people who have lived and died before you. Sometimes you may think you are different. You're not worth anything. But there are people who felt that same way, who are able to document that same experience in a book. And reading it actually helps you instead of reading self help. Because most of those books are just using sorts of philosophy and religion in which not a lot of people could bring together. If you think you're picking up a self help book and think it is interdimensional and out of this world, it's written by an average guy. You're not getting anything different. But that's but if that's what you want to read, then you go ahead. But still, the skills of memory, literacy, and vocabulary and critical thinking, it could be worth 20 minutes of your day to pick up any book that you're interested in and just read it as to be something you're into. It's something that would help you. Together with those hobbies, they can empower you to put more life in your life and to thrive your mind and your body, as well as your spirit. And with those together, create the perfect balances of growth and life of fulfillment. And from there, you are able to use those concepts and to be ready for what is coming at you, but also to beat the absolute shit out of it. And using those concepts, there are many ways to improve your life, but the most beneficial to be seen compared to the other activities is running and reading. And so, that's about it. Sure, those are recommendations on ways you can improve your life whenever you're lost, but there are many others as well. Whatever works for you, and depends on what you really want to achieve. As soon as I look back to this video and as soon as I'm done publishing it, I feel like it will be dated. Because, what if I don't have time one day to do those things anymore? What if I'm not able to spare time or to have motivation to carry these on? And just what if it stops anymore? I mean, I'm only doing this to better my life, and I'm only doing this just to benefit myself, both physically and mentally, because they bring so many benefits. And I've been doing that for over a year now, and things have worked out for me both physically and mentally. But as much as I enjoy it so much, how am I able to take care of it? As soon as occupation comes in, which occupation comes, within the modern world, and with everything else, with jobs and everything. I understand why, but how are you able, within the freest of time, to continue those kinds of hobbies, to really continue to benefit yourself through life, even when you already have those benefits? What is the whole thing with that? You must decide what to do that benefits you in your free time. If there's something you're really passionate about, then just do it. Or just simply have the don't care mindset. Don't mind impressing the other person. If that's something you want to do, then you go ahead and do it. Then if you continue that passion, but you change from it, then one day you will change, your life will change for the beneficial better. And from there, you'll find happiness. And all I could say is, in conclusion, and all I could say is that if you're inspired by someone who does it, and that's motivating you, listen to that person. It might give you motivation. And my final conclusion is this quote I made up. If they could do it, I could do it. And in further final conclusion, this quote I heard from another guy. If I could do it, you could do it. So keep doing it. You got this. You are creative. You are talented. You are more than what you know you are. And you can prove it to yourself. If there is something that they're trying to give to you and they're forcing you to get it, but you don't want to take that, you take that back. And one day, you take that back, you take what you want, and you use something great out of it, and you do something great with it, then you'll feel special. Because with all this time, you are special. Stay hard. And I'm still running back and forth in my backyard to my house.